scared. But don't touch him. Don't touch him.
I'm standing right here. Right.
And so I haven't heard a sound argument yet today, just blah blah blah, like this fella stalking me. So it's just blah blah blah. But if you have a sound argument, I'd love to hear it. What about you?
Have you ever had an Islamic neighbor?
I've had two fellow students that were Islamic. One was Sunnite and one was Shiite. I had some great gospel conversations with them. Why do you ask?
Because I think that they get the same feeling of truth and honesty about their religion that we get about yours.
Well, you know, you have a good point, and he's actually having a good conversation with this guy. Just blah blah blah.
I have a question for you, bro.
Yeah,
I really do.
But no, I think wouldn't you agree that you would be? I think you would be diagnosed as being schizophrenic if you were knowingly doing the wrong thing. I know this is the wrong thing to do, but I'm going to do it. Most people don't do that. They go, I think this is right to rob this bank. I think this is right to rape this woman or murder this baby or whatever it would be. So don't you agree that
what about
they don't consciously say, I know this is wrong, I know this is evil, I'm going to do it. They're deceived, right? So Muslims are deceived.
And there's just as many Christians probably that do naughty things as Muslims that do naughty things.
Now maybe you never.
But I'm not going there. Where I was trying to head was, how do we know what is right if?
You mean morals? Like
no. What is the correct religion?
Look at the Bible. The Bible's our source of truth.
Look at the Quran. Look at the Quran.
But if you read
doesn't agree with the Bible.
Look at the Book of Mormon.
It doesn't agree with the Bible.
Bhagavad Gita. Look at all of those others. They're all.
So my source, I always go back to the Bible.
I would.
Right.
No.
But so can I ask you a question, bro?
But anyway,
can I ask
you just did, but you can ask a second.
I'm asking you this question.
Sure.
So, like, Jews are going to hell, Muslims are going to hell, Hindus are going to hell. Buddhism's not a religion.
Everybody's on their way to hell.
But no, wait. Let me finish my question.
Okay.
No.
But Christians aren't going to hell, right? And then I have this one too. Because watch, if you read the Quran, once you've read it, you have to abide by it, or you'll go to hell. Now, who's right and who's wrong?
Yeah, and then like I said,
what kind of God would do that shit?
Yeah, so his source of truth is the Bible. My source of truth is God in the Bible. That's how I was telling him. Okay.
What did your parents tell you about Santa Claus?
Oh, they lied about Santa Claus. My parents weren't Christians.
They lied.
My parents are Catholics.
My parents lied to me about that. I was pissed. I found out about Santa.
They tell you that story to modify your behavior, right?
Exactly. That's a good example.
Bunch of reasons why we lie to our kids.
Well,
most of them revolve around the Bible.
Remember what Mark Twain said about religion?
I didn't. I'm not.
Yeah, he was an adulterer,
Mark Twain said that religion was invented when the first con men and the first fool.
I had to process that.
And he was an adulterer, if I remember right. So he had an ulterior motive to discredit the Bible. All right.
Exactly.
But so I guess that for both of you, my source is the Bible, God in the Bible, His Word. So I was going to go back to that. So if you say Quran, you say Book of Mormon.
The farther you go, then you're not going far enough. I suggest.
Well, and why do you believe that?
Because there's so many contradictions in the Bible. And
can you name one?
There's endless.
Sounds like the phone game to me. Somebody told you that were
I have a legitimate
contradictions because somebody told them, somebody told them, right? So now you're going, I don't know.
There's contradictions about the individual. Let me think. The biggest contradiction is in Genesis. There's two different mutually contradictory stories of the beginning. There's it doesn't.
How so? Can you flesh that out? Can you explain why you think there's a contradiction and what the stories are? Do you know that? Or you just hear that? Are you just repeating what you've heard?
Well, I've heard it so many times.
Okay, can I interject?
Can
I be in on this one?
Sure.
Science. Okay. As we evolve, we learn more science. Okay. So we know that if we flooded the planet with a bunch of fresh water, that all all the coral reefs, all that stuff. They couldn't survive.
endless
And then there's the one about the dinosaurs on the ark. Really? Were they little baby dinosaurs? Is that how they did that?
Well,
and then
yeah.
only 100
I mean,
years
that's-
after.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
you know why the ark didn't
Yeah, they didn't have to have every animal on.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Noah gave them all enemas before they got
Yes,
on.
it must have
And
been.
then they didn't feed them anything.
And they only had that one little window.
Yeah, they're you're onto it. There are explanations of how the ark came, but
I know, but they're garbage.
But yeah, right. You
Like
could
you'd
say-
have to be like even a 5-year-old kid doesn't believe that shit, dude.
And he shot the kangaroos back to Australia with a rocket.
Yeah, It's
and
just
so,
it's too much.
You've
for
heard
me,
of
bro.
Pangea, right?
Yeah.
Where the continents are all one, they broke apart.
That was-
There's that theory. Have you heard of that?
It's
Well, and I could give you all sorts of logical
Theory. Okay, do you
and
mean-
explanation of
okay.
the Bible, but you're going to say, oh, that makes sense, but what about? Then I explain that, and you go, oh, that makes sense, but what about? You know?
Well,
From
you're
the
willing
Tower of the Babel to the flood to the resurrection of Jesus, all that, you're going to say,
It's all a
I don't believe it because I love my sin. That's what you're going to say.
and that's the beauty of America, right?
Oh yeah, we have freedom of
Awesome.
speech.
Right
I
on,
love
bro.
that. Yeah, I love
Right
it.
on, dude.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of America. I love you, man. Thanks for
I love-
spreading your word, bro.
Okay,
I
yeah,
really mean it.
love you too. Yeah, right.
I wish you-
Yeah. So what was it? You have another question or?
I think that I don't know if there's much hope if there's so much contradiction in what people believe.
Yeah, and there is a lot of contradiction of what people believe, but I maintain that the Bible doesn't have any contradictions. Now you could probably dig up some and say, oh, this and that, and that,
Okay,
but they're all explanations for them.
Well, anyway.
Is that me?
Anyway,
That's a
thank you.
whistle.
Have a good day.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for talking. Yeah. Well, I'm impressed. We had some actual civil dialogue between the leftists and a Christian. That's pretty impressive. Thank you. I appreciate that.